Let's bring in Kaylee McGhee White, editor of Restoring America at the Washington Examiner, and Dustin Olson, pollster at American Polls. Thank you both for coming on. We talk a lot. In fact, the whole country is talking a lot about this Washington Post poll, Kaylee, the whole concept of, the former president being 10 points ahead of President Biden. But I thought that this was more interesting. This is the economy poll, which I think is more damaging. It says Biden and the economy, 74% say the state of the nation's economy is not good, poor. 75% say incomes of average Americans not good, poor. 91% disapprove of gas prices. 87% disapprove of food and energy prices. Kaylee, if you're the Biden administration, that's a bad sign.
It's a very bad sign, especially for a president who is making Bidenomics the main part of his re-election pitch. This is not a good sign. Another really notable finding in that Washington Post poll, Trace, was Biden's decrease in support among young voters. Trump was up above Biden by 20 points among voters under the age of 35. That's my generation, Gen Z and millennials. And that's significant because 2/3 of Gen Z voters and millennials turned out for Biden in 2020. And now just 4% say they have a favorable view of the president. That's a significant drop. And if Trump could make up a lot of ground in a hypothetical general, he could very easily win the election.
Yeah, the key phrase there is a significant drop, Dustin. Of course, Karine Jean-Pierre at the White House is saying, polls. Who listens? Who watches polls? Watch.
Polls are polls, right? They are going to be all over the place. They don't tell the whole story, actually. And that is just the way a poll is.
They don't tell the whole story, Dustin, but these polls tell a very compelling story.
Well, as a pollster, I can tell you it is accurate that polls are indeed polls, but I would also go a little bit further, and when you put a bunch of polls together, you get what we call is a trend, and I would say the trend for Joe Biden is not good. You saw the recent Fox News poll. We also had bad news for the economy there. The Wall Street Journal poll, same thing. I mean, every single poll, actually I don't know of a single poll right now that has shown good news on the economy for the president, and I would say it's less Bidenomics and more Bidenflation.
Yeah, it's one thing when you have polls. It's another thing when you have a pattern. Meantime, Hillary Clinton is now warning about a third-party candidate. NBC News reporting the following. She said, quote, "It's pretty effing concerning," said a person familiar with the White House discussion about the matter. Clinton pressed Biden to take the third-party threat seriously and come up with a way to compensate for it, one of the sources said. What do you make of that, Kaylee?
Yeah, well, if there's one thing that Hillary Clinton knows well, it's how to lose an election to a guy that everyone had already written off. So maybe this advice actually should be taken seriously by the Biden White House at this point. But it is true that a third-party candidacy threatens Biden more than Trump. Trump is shoring up his support among the GOP primary voter base. Biden is quickly losing his footing among his own party. A recent poll from the Washington Post found that 59% of Democratic primary voters want another option. That is a large percentage of his own voters who want something else. So a third party, it definitely hurts him more.
It's a big number. It really is. Lastly, the Fox Business poll, 2024 Republican primary without Trump in the race, I thought was interesting here, Dustin. Nikki Haley leading. Your final thoughts on this? I got about 15 seconds for you to wrap us up.
Well, looking forward to the Fox Business debate. We are going to be seeing Nikki Haley coming in with a surge from the last debate for sure. Ron DeSantis, really, he needs to get some juice from this, and I think that's really going to be the dynamic in the poll in the debate.
Yeah, Dustin, Kaylee, thank you both.